2020 definitely had a very clear publishing theme, and it's not anything that I can really describe by genre. It's more by author. See, the really cool thing about 2020 was these publishers discovered a lot of authors previously unknown who are amazingly talented. A lot of these authors are bringing different perspectives in, things that we haven't really read before in teen fiction. So it's creating a lot of excitement in the library world to see what kind of genre and what kind of author is going to be really popular in 2021 and even beyond. These are some of the really interesting, unique first-time author voices that are coming out of 2020 that also made the best of lists. If you are a person that follows book trends, this is the video you are going to want to watch, because I really think that the books that are on this list are going to set the course for perhaps even the next decade of what teen reading is really going to look like. One of those new authors making a splash in the publishing world right now is Janae Marks. She wrote this book called From the Desk of Zoe Washington, and it's about this girl whose ultimate dream is to be on a cooking show. She gets an internship at a bakery to try to help her cooking skills and to prove to her parents that she can totally be on this show. Meanwhile, she gets this letter from her biological father, who she's never met before, and she starts communicating with her father back and forth through letters. And he tells her that he's in jail for this crime that he didn't actually commit. So Zoe has to figure out, does she believe this person? I mean, she's never met him. And if she does believe him, how does she go about proving his innocence? This is a really fun book that has just enough emotional drama in there to keep you hooked. And it has been on every best of list in the tween category and rightfully deserves its spot. The book that I've been seeing on the most best of lists is We Are Not Free. This is written by Tracy Chee. Now, she wrote another fantasy series that was, it was good, but it wasn't anything incredible. This book was incredible. Like, this is the book that she was meant to write. She was given the gift of writing to write this book. It's about the experiences of these different kids in a Japanese internment camp during World War II. It is so worth the read. This was probably one of the best books that I've read this year, and I'm already buying it because I buy books that I know I'm going to read over and over again, and this is going to be one of them. So definitely pick up We Are Not Free. Another author that I really like is Jacqueline Woodson, and she came out with another amazing book, of course, because that's just how she rolls, and it's called Before the Ever After. It's about a kid whose dad is a professional football player, and he starts noticing his dad doing really weird things, and he's not acting like his normal self. This is another book that's written in poetry, and it just moves so fast. Highly recommended, but honestly, reading anything by Jacqueline Woodson, Harbor Me is one that comes to mind. You cannot go wrong with any of her books. Another book that's been getting a little bit of buzz. It's not on so many best of lists. It's more like one of those underground titles that I've been hearing a lot about. It's called 96 Miles, and it's about these two brothers who are left home alone when their dad goes on this business trip across the country. Suddenly, the power goes out. And when the power goes out, it's not that big of a deal. They're all looking at the stars. Everybody's pretty chill. But the power stays out for a while. Now, these boys, their father has a stockpile of food and water, so they think they should be totally fine, except people around them start getting really desperate, and they actually take over their house, and so they're left with nothing. They have to walk 96 miles in order to find someone who can possibly help them. This is a survival story. There's a lot of action in this one. Pick this one up because this is going to be one that you're going to see around for a while. If you like funnier books, I would go for The Super Miraculous Journey of Freddie Yates. Freddie's grandma dies in the opening pages of this book, and she leaves him his birth certificate. Now, Freddie's always known that his dad wasn't his biological father, but he never knew anything about his biological father. So he finds his father's name and he looks him up on the internet, and he decides that he is going to find this guy. Now, they think this is going to be a really easy journey. They're in England, so they're going to hop on a train and they're going to go to Wales, and it's not going to be that big of a deal. Wrong! Everything that could go wrong does, and they don't plan as well for this journey as they possibly could. So Freddie and his two friends end up kind of going on this crazy journey. This is a really funny book that is definitely a must-read if you like funny adventure stories. Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky is my personal favorite Rick Riordan Presents book. This one is about a kid who's sort of failing at boxing, which is sad because his grandpa's really into it, his dad's really into it, and he feels like he needs to keep up the family legacy. So he goes with his grandpa after a failed match, and in the middle of the night, this doll, this really sticky looking doll, starts talking to him. And he realizes that it has something to do with this book that was given to him by his best friend who had recently died. So he follows this creepy looking doll into this other universe that he accidentally discovers. It's the most Percy Jackson-ish of all of the books, if that makes any sense. Like, you just love the characters immediately. It's based off of like different African myths, which is something you don't read about a lot in fantasy books. This is a winner. If you love Percy Jackson, if you love fantasy books, if you love mythology, if you love something that's just going to keep you on the edge of your seat and make you crack up at the same time, this is the book for you. And lastly, I want to talk about You Should See Me in a Crown Again, because that's another book by a new author that's been on every best of list, and it absolutely deserves its place. If you want to learn more about that book, check out the Not Your Average Romance video where I talk a little bit more about it. For more awesome book suggestions, go to www.cromaine.org. That's the Cromaine Library website. Or check out the Teen Blog, which has tons and tons more reading recommendations. This has been Carolyn from Cromaine Library. Happy reading, and thank you so much for watching.